knocked her to the ground, and ignoring her daughter's terrified pleas of "Mummy, don't," strangled her with a cord. Hello and welcome, I hope you are doing well. My name is Gabby and today's video is about the case of Penny Boudreau. At 7:30 p.m. on the 27th of January 2008, police in Bridgewater, Nova Scotia received a call reporting a missing child. The child was 12-year-old Karissa Boudreau. The caller was her mother, Penny Boudreau, who told police that she'd had an argument with her daughter in the car park of a grocery store and that when she had got back from doing her shopping, Karissa was gone. At home, items of Karissa's clothing were missing, suggesting that she'd run away from home. On the 29th of January, Penny made a tearful TV appeal begging her daughter to come home, followed by another on the 1st of February where she also asked for anyone with information as to Karissa's whereabouts to come forward. Police received a number of reported sightings of the missing girl, but upon following them up, they all proved to be dead ends. Karissa was eventually found 2 weeks after she was reported missing at around 11:30 a.m. on the 9th of February. Her frozen body was found by a passerby on the bank of the Le Havre River below Highway 331, just outside the Bridgewater town limits. Karissa's trousers had been pulled down, suggesting sexual assault, but a post-mortem examination of the body ruled that out. Karissa's funeral took place on the 19th of February in Shelburne County, where her father and grandparents lived, with her being buried in a cemetery in Clark's Harbour. Hundreds of people attended the service, among them her mother and Penny's boyfriend Vernon McCumber. 9 churches in Bridgewater organised memorial services for the murdered girl on the 23rd of February that were likewise heavily attended. The search for the missing person had become a murder inquiry, and the police already had a suspect, Penny Boudreau. However, they didn't have enough evidence to charge her with the crime. Eventually, after months of investigation, they resorted to a sting operation in which police officers posing as gangsters approached Penny with an offer to destroy any evidence that the police had against her, presumably for a price. Convinced that they were who they claimed to be and that the offer was genuine, Penny took the bait and started talking, giving the undercover officers exactly what they were after. Penny Boudreau was arrested on the 13th of June 2008 for the first-degree murder of her daughter, Karissa. The truth of what happened was that on the dark and snowy night of the 27th of January, Penny drove Karissa to a remote and deserted wooded area by William Hebb Road in Hebbville near Bridgewater, knocked her to the ground and, ignoring her daughter's terrified pleas of "Mummy, don't," strangled her with a cord as she felt the struggling hands of Karissa digging into the ground around her. She then drove her daughter's body to the nearby river, pulled down her trousers to try and make it look like she'd been a victim of a sex attack, and rolled the body down the embankment into the water. After disposing of the body, she went home, gathered up some of Karissa's clothes and threw them away in a bin outside the local swimming pool to make it appear that Karissa had run away, before calling the police and her boyfriend to tell them that her daughter was missing. She also called Karissa's friends and teachers to spread the story. According to Penny, the motive for the murder was that Karissa was in the way of her relationship with her boyfriend Vernon, who she claimed had threatened to end the relationship because he didn't get on with her daughter, telling Penny, "It's her or me." It should be noted that Penny made it clear that she was solely responsible for the murder and that there is no evidence to suggest that Vernon was in any way directly involved, that he intended for her to do what she did, or that he even knew about it prior to her arrest. In interviews, he denied giving the ultimatum that Penny claimed he did, saying, "I asked them, you have to do something about this, because this is not a productive family when they're arguing and fighting. I'd come home and hear them screaming and hollering as I come up the stairs." He also said that Karissa made him laugh and that he was heartbroken by her death. Penny Boudreau pled guilty to second-degree murder on the 20th of January 2009, breaking down in tears as she did so and saying, "I'm sorry. As the prosecution described what Karissa's final moments were like, relatives in the courtroom wept openly. Among them were Karissa's father, Paul Boudreau, who described his ex's crying in court as crocodile tears and that the murder as a senseless act. Paul also went on record as saying that he had his suspicions about what had happened from the moment Karissa was reported missing. Any parent knows their child, and when a child does something way out of the character, you know day one it's not true. Penny was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum of 20 years before being eligible for parole. The presiding judge, Justice Margaret Stewart, looked directly at Penny and told her, "You can never call yourself a mother in connection with Karissa's name again. The words 'Mummy don't' from a trusting and loving Karissa are there to haunt you for the rest of your life." Regarding the sentence, Karissa's father said that justice had been served. Penny was sent to the Nova Institution for Women in Truro. In 2018, she was granted escorted leave to attend church. Escorted leave was granted for the same reason the following year and again in November 2021, along with an additional pass to visit a family friend. Aside from those closely supervised trips out of prison, she remains incarcerated and will likely continue to be until 2029 at the very earliest. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give it a like. I would really appreciate it. But until I see you again, please be safe, be well, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.